Joining us now is foreign editor at The Australian, Greg Sheridan. Hello to you, Greg. So your article today, titled Anthony Albanese's Cowardice Brings Global Intifada to Our Shores. We certainly hear so much of the Jewish community how concerned they are of the global intifada. So tell us more, in your opinion.
Well, Janie, it's great to be with you. So look, it's really for more than 2 years, many people, not just the Jewish community, we shouldn't put this all on the Jewish community, Australians across the board, analysts, commentators, cultural analysts, political commentators, many other people, community leaders of all kinds, have been telling the government there is a crisis of anti-Semitism in our nation. And this is part of a global crisis of anti-Semitism. And the government never took it seriously. And what does it say it's done? It tightened hate speech laws and outlawed Nazi symbols. It's not neo-Nazis. God knows I hate neo-Nazis. It's not neo-Nazis who killed 15 innocent people at Bondi yesterday. The government has given no moral leadership at all. Obviously, the government is not anti-Semitic or anything like that, but it has given no moral leadership. It couldn't say anti-Semitism without also saying Islamophobia. And it won't implement any of Gillian Siegel's reforms, or most of her reforms, because they're tough, they're difficult. The anti-Semitism festers in certain institutions in Australia, in the universities, in the mosques, in those small number of mosques where hate preaching goes on. And it festers in these shocking demonstrations every week which carry terrorist symbols and chant anti-Semitic slogans. Now, if you're going to take action against those breeding grounds of anti-Semitism, that's going to involve tough action. It's going to involve conflict. People are going to be unhappy that you took action in their institutions. All that Albanese can do is say in a general way he's against anti-Semitism. Well, even Islamists often say that. The government has done nothing and it has provided no moral leadership, and at no point has it ever given the faintest sign that it understands the crisis of anti-Semitism or that it is willing to confront it.
And Caroline Marcus, my colleague, just spoke to the Diaspora Affairs of Israel minister. He was talking about, it's about radicalisation. It's not about racism so much, but more incitement, and that radical is Islam and the education that is certainly needed. He said, what starts with Jews doesn't end with Jews. I don't know if you got a chance to see that interview, but what do you make of those comments?
Well, look, I think this is such a profound cultural and national crisis that action is needed at the school level. So in school curriculum, it's told that there must be an Asian element, an Aboriginal element. We've got all kinds of things loaded onto the curriculum. I'm not against any of those particular things, although you want to keep the curriculum coherent. But given that we are gripped by a shocking crisis of national anti-Semitism pervading many elements of our society, you would think that governments would, say, want to get Holocaust education into the school curriculum and education about the positive role of Judaism in the evolution of our culture. I mean, people say we live in a Judeo-Christian culture. That's true. Both those words are equally important, Judeo-Christian. Our society is based on Jewish ethics and Jewish law, and the failure of the government to do anything about the festering of anti-Semitism. It's not just radicalisation. The whole attitude which sees Jews and Israel as the cause of all of the problems in the Middle East and all of the suppression allegedly of minorities is based on a series of lies, and the government won't deauthorise these lies within its own constituency. So this government is a profile in cowardice. Why isn't it telling the social democratic left in Australia the things you say about demonising Israel are not true, and they also have the consequence of demonising Jews within Australia? But this government has no courage at all. It's not only a poor government, largely incompetent, but it is a cowardly government.
And Greg, you described in your article that Sunday's Bondi terror attack as a day that would change our country forever, and it was a pivot point in our country. What are you hearing from people overseas and their reaction?
Well, the whole world is shocked by this. Every Western leader has spoken about this. It's front page all over the world. But you know, Australia used to be the safest country in the world for Jews, even safer than Israel. John Monash was our supreme military leader in World War I. He's a proud Jewish man. Sir Isaac Isaacs was our first Australian-born Governor-General in the 1930s at a time when anti-Semitism was roiling Europe. We never had these hatreds in Australia. They've been imported now in two ways. Through the radical left, where our universities are absolute hotbeds of anti-Semitism, where the hatred of Israel morphs easily into the hatred of Jews, and they've been imported through Islamic anti-Semitism, of which there is a long tradition, just as there was a tradition of Christian anti-Semitism. Now, the Christian churches had to go face to face with their tradition of anti-Semitism, confront it, deal with it, apologise for it, never do it again. That hasn't happened in the Islamic world, but if Muslims in numbers of millions are going to live in Australia, they also need to confront the tradition of Islamic anti-Semitism, and they need some help from the government to do that. But this government just hides in the shadows. We are changed forever because we can never go back before Bondi. There has been a shocking mass terror attack on Jewish Australians. I mean, previous terror attacks were on the whole of Australia, hideous and ghastly as they were. This was religious and racial hatred directed at a minority of Australians, and our government has not defended them and not ensured their security. This is also a failure of Australian multiculturalism. I mean, there are large slabs of Australia now which are anti-Semitic in their outlook. That's a tremendous failure of Australian multiculturalism. These are hard truths. It's not pleasant to say them, but the nation has to look this truth in the face if we're going to do better in the future.
We're certainly hearing from Jewish people saying that many people need to wake up and that it is safer for many people they feel in Israel than it is in our country. We've got to wrap it up, but Greg Sheridan, thank you so much.